about single bidder issues with Pearson Company in New York, and it was about bidding review sidestepping, which was supposed to occur, and it has not in Mississippi. All right, so for those who are opposed to Common Core, it is a debate about whether or not we need standards. We do. Schools should improve, that's a given. Rather, opponents, like myself, ask whether or not the Common Core standards are so remarkable and so sound that we should embrace them as standards by which every single American child is both educated and judged. And it's interesting because a lot of the people who have come out against Common Core are those who know it the best. And so Louisa Moats, one of the few early childhood experts on the team that created the literacy standards, is now one of the most outspoken critics. Why? Because she says the Common Core standards disregard decades of research on early reading development and instead yank up difficulty levels in every grade. The Common Core standards are built backwards from grade 12 down to pre-K. And she says kids don't grow backwards, they grow forward. And their development is unique and uneven. And the Common Core currently Common Core requires that kindergartners count from 1 to 100 by ones and tens. But they can't do that. And even though we know that most 5-year-olds can only count to 20, this is as silly of an expectation as it is expecting all 2-year-olds to be potty trained. Or to get my daughter to come home before 12 when she goes out on a date. You know? All right, so, and there's absolutely no evidence, none, that the Common Core standards in its tests will actually increase student learning. And as we engage in this experiment, Common Core, we may very well hurt the kids who need our support the most. We are embracing a set of flawed standards that will mark as failure more than half of our kids. And I don't know about any of you, but I always loved the movie Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. And one of my favorite lines in that was, you know, they blow up the train, steal the money, they take off, and they go, and they're pursued, and they go, who are those guys? Who are those guys? You know, they're always after them. So the question is a really good one to ask about Common Core, too. Who are those guys? And so, who started Common Core? David Coleman. All right, so who's David Coleman? He's smart and he's athletic enough to get a Rhodes Scholarship at Oxford University, yet he never had a teaching job. And what does he do? He works his connections to leverage his way to write the National English Standards. He shuts out any open inquiry and discussion of the Common Core process. Participants are required to sign non-disclosure agreements, agreeing not to disclose any writing or discussion on the creation of the process. And what's his payoff? He sells his assessment company, which is called Grow Network, for a cool $14 million. Then he gets picked up by the college board to be president, allowing him to continue his plan to direct English education, all the while having no teaching experience or supervision training. And now he's become positioned to rewrite the SATs to fit this Common Core concept. So you're making the SAT fit Common Core. This is all from a man who could not get hired as a teacher and who has publicly used profanity to ridicule students' personal expression. All right, so then I would say, the many promises of Common Core are wordy abstractions, they're ephemeral posturing, and optimistic delusion. They're unsubstantiated. But the questions posed to those abstractions are real, and they go unanswered, and I will ask many of those questions in a minute. And so loud, repeated assertions do not make facts, and Mark Twain says this, I just love this. Noise proves nothing. Often a chicken who has merely laid an egg cackles as if she laid an asteroid. Which is appropriate, right? Because we're going to land on an asteroid. I think today they landed on an asteroid.
They already did. Yes.
All right. So anyway, originally I'm from Connecticut. Connecticut has really high educational standards.